see the moon with Saturn. The moon represents the public in a mundane chart, and the moon is with Saturn. Saturn causes restrictions, has to do with law enforcement issues. And then again, we have more issues with the banks. We have Uranus in here, which has to do with reversals with the banks. It was very close to going across this axis, but the Uranus, Eris, these two are right on the south node, which the south node has to do with things from the past. And now we have Trump's chart on Inauguration Day. And we see a lot of things hitting his chart. The Uranus-Pluto square is tied in with his directed Pluto. It's on his Jupiter, which has to do with things being out of proportion. His chart ties in with the chart of Russia because his midheaven is on this axis right here. This is the midpoint. So this is the relationship between Russia and the U.S. and the inner wheel. What occurs in the August 21st, 2017 solar eclipse path goes right across the U.S. Neptune has to do with oil, so this could be the Turkish stream, but that we sense something's wrong, we see something wrong with the media, but there's so much deception and mixed messages we're getting. One of the things that I spoke about in the panel is Saturn square Neptune. We are going to be under the influence of this all the way until 2021. Saturn has to do with our sense of reality and structure, and Neptune has to do with that heightened awareness. Remember this Billy Joel song? Seeing the lights go out on Broadway. It turned our power down and drove us underground, but we went right on with the show. Things that are going to happen in advance, and they're put into movies, TV shows, songs.
Then I'll invite him.
Maria. Maria.
Yo-yo,
Maria.
I can't hear you.
Yo-yo.
Where are you? Yo-yo. Are you?
It's a blackout. How cool is that, huh?
This is really bad. No more blended drinks.
The blackout in Miami was just the first. We will continue to attack you, city by city, hour by hour, until our voices are heard. We are the inhuman resistance.
It's most likely an EMP device.
So the threat was credible. They could black out more cities.
Yeah, if there's more than one EMP device, it's more than credible.
They keep telling us in advance, this is their protocol, look like an electromagnetic pulse. So they'll say Russia hacked our system, and they'll point the finger over there, so you don't know who's doing what. It's easier to fool people than to convince them they have been fooled. Very true. The Saturn-Neptune square is distracting us from World War III, which is primarily a currency war. In the Huffington Post, the IMF issued a report Thursday on a possible replacement for the dollar as the world's reserve currency, and China calls for an end to dollar's reign, replacing the dollar as the main global reserve currency. Russia said it would put forward a similar proposal. This is by Obama's former chief economist, calling for an end to the dollar. After the Lehman crash, they had to create living wills. How are they going to distribute their assets or their funds if there's a crash and they go under? So what has the Federal Reserve done? The Federal Reserve is a private bank. It's not federal. It's a group of elite, wealthy men. They bought up all the mortgages. This is when we had the mortgage crisis. Go see The Big Short and learn what happened. And these are the top banks ranked by derivatives. JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Goldman Sachs. Negative interest rates, that means that you will be paying to keep your money in the bank.
They're trying to create inflation by printing money. But of course they're creating deflation.
This yuan, so based on when this was started, they always had the potential to have strong power behind this currency.
Well, if gold has no role in the monetary system, why does the U.S. have 8,000 tons? Why do the members of the Eurozone have 10,000 tons? Why has China acquired 3,000 tons in the past 5 years, Russia over 1,000 tons? Clearly, there's a shadow gold standard going on. But gold plays a hidden role on the Fed balance sheet. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's right there in plain sight. And I mentioned this in Chapter 1 of my book, The New Case for Gold.
This is the Barbeau Index, and this index is a representation of the midpoints of the planet. During 2017 to 2018, we take this big dip. And what is leading toward at the base of the chart is in 2020, when we have Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn are all together here in China's chart, these planets all end up in the 12th house, and the 12th house very often has to do with power behind the scenes. So this is just a piece of the whole Barbeau Index.